What up, folks? What is happening? As you can see, another episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual shore. And let's get to it, man. Look, right to it. We're getting right to it. Boom. There's the timer. Timer might not even be that long of a show. We're getting right to it. Y'all know at this time of year, the information starts dwindling down. So I really have only one topic to get to, but guess what? Blog Talk Radio decided to participate tonight. Phone lines are open. So the show that we were supposed to have last week, we will have tonight. Phone calls. It is all phone calls. You guys call in, state your beef, your business, your opinion, your hate, your love, whatever it is you want to say, it is for you tonight. We'll still abide by the same rules, so to speak. Don't keep the calls too long. You know, we're looking for 2 minutes or less, but it will be mainly phone calls. That is the main motivation tonight. Like I said, I have literally one topic, and that is in the title. Let's go to the chat and say what's up to the early commenters. First and foremost, 4112, born and raised. He says, what up, Steeler Nation and Sim? I'm here early today, straight from Pittsburgh, PA. What is up to you? We're going to give you a round of applause. We're going to give him a round of applause. Y'all know I give love and show mad respect to those who are from Pittsburgh or the Pittsburgh area, the 412ers, the Yinzers, if you will, because, you know, again, we love the team. Of course they do. They're born and raised there, so we always show love to them. I've told you guys many times, I'm not from Pittsburgh. Do live in Pennsylvania, but I am not from Pittsburgh, so I give a special shout out to those folks. My man C. Antoine Hill, my man White Diggy. Hello, Lanisha. Hello, Miss Lanisha. Again, guys, we always give the special, the sweet hello to our lovely ladies in the chat. So what's going on, Lanisha? Hope you're well. Fellas, y'all already know the routine. Make sure you say hi to each and every one of the lovely ladies. Make them feel comfortable and welcome. Charlie Brown. Who else we got up in here? Jared Devil. Kev So Fun. Father-in-law Leonard Langley. Me and him just had a nice meal prepared by my lovely wife. Sounds like she's still cooking up there. I hear the fire alarm going off. Fire alarms get kind of sensitive now when you cook. It's weird. At least in these homes. You know, the home that we sold, which is same neighborhood with father-in-law Leonard there. For whatever reason, man, the fire alarms in this home, they're very sensitive. It's weird. It's very weird. But anyway, Vista Light, Dwayne, Mr. Winningham, how you doing tonight, sir? Look at Mr. Winningham leading the way. Look at that. Good evening, beautiful queen. See how? See? That's why I call him Mr. Winningham. He know how to take care of the ladies, man. Who else we got up in here? Jim Inman, Brian Williams, The Real Missy. Hello, The Real Missy. How you doing tonight? Lovely lady of the chat. Welcome, welcome. Definitely appreciate you coming by. Like always, Sport 8, Jack Bauer, Robert Westover, and we'll read one more. Steelers cards. Steelers cards. If anyone else I missed, my bad, but it's time to get to the show. What's up, Ron? My man Ron. My man Ron Simpson told me that he used this, and my bad, Ron. I thought I responded to you, but if I didn't, I did in spirit. But he told me on Twitter that he played with our Steelers in his Madden franchise, and he won the Super Bowl. So round of applause to Ron for that. Y'all know I got to pick with our Steelers. That's about the only Super Bowl we gonna win in recent current times or future, huh? No, I'm just playing. Hopefully one day we'll be back there, man, at the top. All right, man, let's get right to it. Listen, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. No important news to get into. Let me just make sure there wasn't anything worthy of talking about. I know some people hit me up about the signing of a receiver. Who was it? Dan Chazina. At this point, guys, none of that means anything at this point. It means absolutely nothing. at this point. Real quick, let me interrupt myself and say shout outs and round of applause to Dwayne as well with the extended family. Appreciate that, man. This is the welcome to the extended family notification. There's just letting me know that he actually joined the channel. You know, it's a monthly fee. And while we're on that, all of the people that you see lit up in green, they are extended family members. I want to ask you all, and I got some information, you know, some content coming, but I please let me know what you guys want to see. It could be anything. It could be anything, because now that the season is over, the All 22 isn't as relevant, but I do plan to show some of that coming up, hopefully this week, you know, just prior game, maybe the last couple weeks or two, because we didn't get to it in the last couple weeks of the season. But please let me know what type of stuff you all want to see, because it is exclusive for you, right? I mean, I could, whatever it is, you let me know. If it's my gaming stuff, if it's, you know, old Steelers footage as far as all 22 stuff, whatever you want to see, please be vocal and let me know what you want to see, because you're paying for that service. And I know some of you guys have told me that you pay for it just as a donation, a monthly donation to me. Greatly appreciate that as well. But again, you get something for that. So please express what type of things you would like to see, you know, exclusively for your $4.99. Round of applause to Luis D, man. We got a first donation of the night. Appreciate that. Very good question. Very good question. My man says, oh, what's up, Roughhouse? I see Roughhouse in here talking some boxing. But my man Luis D says, would you like to see both Terrell and Tremaine Edmonds for the Steelers? And in your opinion, which backup running back you don't expect to return? Oh, okay. I like this, Luis, putting me on the spot a little bit. Yes. I'm going to say yes to the first question. I told you guys all along, man, I think Terrell Edmonds has been a solid defender, strong safety for the Steelers. Okay, he's not a ball hawk. I very quickly identified that after year 2 that he wasn't that type of guy, but I wanted to see, could he at least be the guy that we can use in spots, play in the box, support the run, send on blitzes. Will his PBU, you know, effectiveness increase? All of that has. Terrell Edmonds has become all of that and does, in my opinion, a really solid job at doing it, while you allow Minka and guys like KZ, if we can get KZ back, to be more of the guys that you have to worry about roaming the field or, you know, ball magnets or what have you. And I am very cool and comfortable with Terrell Edmonds coming back and not having to start over with a brand new strong safety, because it's just not like you just plug and play somebody. I'm cool with that. You know, honestly, if they did a 2-3 year, maybe 2-year deal with him, I'm fine with that. And bringing in Tremaine Edmonds, absolutely I would take Tremaine Edmonds at inside linebacker. You know, is he, how can I explain this? Is he as explosive as he was when he first came in? Maybe not, but he still gets the job done. He still gets the job done. Plays very well in that Buffalo defense. And I think he would more than likely be able to play in our defense. Now, to be honest with you guys, I haven't watched them enough, but I cannot remember. Buffalo, do they run a 4-3 or 3-4? And I don't remember, because, again, I really only study, you know, our team. You know, I'll look at other teams when we play them. But honestly, I cannot remember their defensive scheme. I think they might be in the 3-4, just kind of how Edmonds lines up sometimes, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will say, yeah, I would love to get a guy like that and still draft a guy. Or if you went Tremaine Edmonds, maybe you allow Mark Robinson to develop. So I'm cool with that. You know, if maybe they feel like they want to be more safe and they don't draft a guy that they need now, they bring him in, allow him to play alongside a guy like Miles Jack in his second year with the Steelers. I'm cool with that. Round of applause to Kev So Fun, man. Welcome to the extended family. 4-3. Okay. And I kind of thought that just because, again, even though I haven't studied the Bills, again, man, just sometimes when you're a football mind, and I just visualize how I see him line up, and I was like, okay, I think that's a 4-3 perhaps, but it's sometimes he kind of lines up off, so sometimes I think they do throw a 3-4 look, but okay. So honestly, guys, and some of y'all might not know this, but that could be an adjustment for him, honestly. A 3-4 and a 4-3 middle linebacker is quite different, right, in terms of responsibility and things of that nature. Now, could super athletes or super talented guys adapt? Absolutely they can, but it's just not plug and play. So that's one thing to consider, but in theory, let's just talk about in theory, the type of player that he's been in his career. Would I like to have him and Edmonds, his brother, together? Sure, I would. I'd be cool with that. Which backup running back may not return? I'm going to say maybe McFarland. You got to remember that, guys like Benny Snell are under contract still, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Steelers got a lot of value, obviously, out of Warren. They're going to try to lock him down. And also, Benny Snell did okay in those games that he had to come in and do some things. So Benny Snell is almost like a security blanket, for the Steelers, or Tomlin, if you will, a guy that you can use in short yardage. He ran hard think about it. Let's be honest and objective. Those spurts when Benny Snell had to play, he played well. He ran hard, got the tough yardage, did what he had to do. Again, here's the key. Benny Snell has also been very effective in special teams. So if I had to guess right now, as far as the guys that I can recall that were on the roster, not the 53, but just in general, maybe a guy like Anthony McFarland doesn't make it this time, and it would more than likely be Benny Snell, Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris, and whoever else they may bring in. They might have another UDFA or somebody like that, or maybe a late round pick that ends up being, on the practice squad. So I think McFarland will probably be the guy that won't return when it's all said and done, or gets cut when it's all said and done. So we'll see. But appreciate that question, man. It was good. That's a good one. So all right, real quick, man, let me get to my one topic, and then we're gonna open up the phone lines, and that's gonna be that. I told you this show is for you guys. I was talking about the Steelers signing Dan Chesina. Honestly, that means nothing to me right now. Any signings and stuff like that that's happening, or future contracts and all of that, I pay no attention to any of that until training camp. Till training camp happens. When training camp happens, then we can kind of talk about, what do we think at that point. Shout outs to my man Brent Fox. Has been an extended family member. Wow, man, for 16 months. Love. Very humbled and loved, man. Appreciate that. But I'm going to read his comment. He says, came in late, but salute to you, Sim, and the Steeler family. I expect playoffs next season. Respect the process. I could agree with that. It's very reasonable for us to expect a playoff berth next season, considering how they finished this season. Think about it. Some of those games that they should have won, that you can kind of put on saying, oh, we were dealing with Mitch Trubisky early, or we were dealing with an early Kenny, and some of those games was right in our hands to take. Excuse me. Some of those games was right there, man. We could have possibly won the Miami game, but that one was kind of tit for tat. But the Patriots game, we should have had that in the bag, as well as the Jets game. Should have had that game as well. So, in this season, that gets us in the playoffs. Just like that. So, there you have it. But all right, man, let me get to my one topic, man, and then I'm going to open it up to the phone calls. Let's see if we have anybody in the queue. We do. We have 5 calls. Thank you guys for calling. And anybody maybe a first-time caller, don't be afraid. Just speak your mind. And I know not everyone is vocal, so that's fine. But, I definitely don't want anyone to feel like they can't do that. And coming up next week, Believe Kenyon should be available. Hopefully Tony will be available, but if not, me and Kenny will hold. Kenyon will hold things down. Round table talk, still table as we call it. We're just gonna discuss a plethora of things, how we felt about the season, what the outlook might look like, and Kenyon will give you guys a small little snippet as to players and positions that he's looking for as we now start this draft process. And this is when I usually start getting into my scouting early, but I really start taking a look after free agency, because then that helps me to know, all right, this is what they're probably going to address. All right, and then after that, the ladies have reached out to me as well. They want to do ladies Steeler Nation or Steeler Roundtable. The what I call them, the ladies of Steeler Nation. I saw somebody in the chat say they can't wait for that. They're coming. They're coming soon. So again, it's in their hands. I saw Debbie in here too. Hello, Miss Debbie. Appreciate you coming through like you always do. And yeah, they'll get back in touch with me soon. They have some really good topics that they want to hit on. So just be looking out for that as well sometime in this off season. So here's a question. Well, here's my, not my question. Here's my statement. Let me take a sip of water really quick. Trying to get all of my water in on a daily basis. What? Somebody just said Kenny Pickett is the next Zach Wilson. Wow. Okay. Hey, opinions are opinions. Opinions are opinions. And Juan, yes, Kenny threw 2 interceptions against Miami. Even the last one, if he could have by any chance even if he wasn't on the same page with Deontay, if he could have just assumed throw this ball to the inside because no one is there and throw Deontay open, it's a touchdown and we win the game. Instead, he throws it kind of back shoulder to the front pylon, and it was an easy interception. Can we please stop comparing Brock Purdy, or in reverse? Can we stop comparing Kenny Pickett to Brock Purdy? What's happening right now is the very definition of what I call the highlight watcher. The very definition. And I'm going to explain to you guys why, right? So, Kenny Pickett, y'all know how his rookie season turned out. I will continue to say Kenny Pickett started to get better throughout the season. Kenny Pickett started coming along. And before long, some of us, not everyone, because not everybody's sold on Kenny Pickett. And for the record, let me get really close to the microphone so you guys can hear me. For the record, I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is the franchise quarterback of the future either. I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is going to be an elite quarterback. I'm not saying any of that. Round of applause really quick before I continue going. Kept so fun. I appreciate the donation, man. Thank you. Kev says, Sim, in my honest opinion, I think the Steelers should not draft a corner because of our track record. I would do it later in the rounds. That's why you said that way. I think you meant to say way, but I know autocorrect be messing people up. He said, so I'm assuming he's saying that way it won't hurt us in the end. We should draft on offensive lineman in the first. Yeah, I'm not opposed to them not picking CB cornerback early. I'm not opposed to that. They could definitely wait. Depends on who's out there. I will say this though. I will say I'm gonna try to be more objective. Now, I'm going to acknowledge the track record, but I'm going to try to be more objective and say, look, sometimes it's a bad break. We've hit on receivers, obviously, and we finally hit with a pass rusher and TJ Watt. And, maybe the Steelers are due a DB. They hit years ago with the great Troy Polamalu. So maybe they're due a legit corner, right? So I'm not going to be so hesitant to say the track record isn't good. You would hope that that's a coincidence, or you would hope maybe they scout better over the years or what have you. And we'll see. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind them waiting until a later round. I honestly will say this, though. I mean, I could very, very well see the Steelers going corner within the first 3 rounds. Because I think they acknowledge that they need some help there, and also what's going to happen with Cam Sutton. So things like that, don't let it surprise you if they were to jump out the window and go corner early. Man, y'all are doing it up tonight. Round of applause to Carmichael the Guru. Looks like he has rejoined the extended family. I appreciate that, man. I know Debbie, right? But all right, man, back to what I was saying. Listen, I'm not saying what Kenny Pickett is going to be. Just please, guys, can y'all really... Some of you guys are displaying my exact definition for highlight watcher. Everyone is watching what Brock Purdy has done over the last 7 games or whatever it was and what he's doing in the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. Okay, I will say this. A bum probably can't do what he's doing, right? So it does take some skill. I'm not going to take that away from him. The kid did play not high school. He played college ball. He's got some skill. But can y'all really pay attention to why he's so successful? The funny thing is, Brock Purdy has been uber successful because of the exact reason y'all hate Matt Canada. It's called scheme and play call, folks. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Brock Purdy, but honestly, what has he done that has blown you away? Again, all respect to him. This is not a knock on him whatsoever. I'm just stating the obvious. Look at most of those games. And a lot of those times where he's gotten to George Kittle or whoever, Ayuk or any of them, they wide open. I mean, in some of them games, they were college open. Schemed open. Come on. Now, he has made a couple throws here and there, yes. So, again, he has some talent, obviously. But can we stop with the comparisons? Because I think Kenny Pickett has talent enough to be as successful in that exact situation. If those plays were being called with that offense and that scheme, I don't see any reason why Kenny couldn't do what we're seeing Brock Purdy do. The Niners are being very smart. They're making it simple for him. They're utilizing his skill set. It shows you what the difference, right? And the type of offense they have with potent run game and all that kind of shows you, okay, how about this? What our offense started to be the last 3 or 4 weeks, where they started to be able to run the football and then hit some plays here and there, take some shots here and there. Just saying. It's crazy to see people saying, oh, the Steelers, man, they could have waited and got Brock Purdy. Really? Really? Y'all talking about Mr. Irrelevant? So y'all going to just blame the Steelers for not drafting him until the very last pick of the draft. Sounds like to me the entire NFL didn't think that he should be drafted until then. And again, y'all know me. Draft position doesn't always matter to me, but I'm just saying, I've literally seen some of you guys in Steeler Nation say the Steelers missed. They should have drafted Purdy. Come on, man. Y'all expecting the Steelers to have that keen of an eye. You know what? Everyone else is not going to draft him until the very last pick. He's actually going to be Mr. Irrelevant, but we're going to take him. Y'all need to cut that out, man. Y'all need to cut that out. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I have to call us out when we do that. And I expect y'all to do the same to me. Some of my fellow Steelers, come on, man. Y'all be reaching, dog, for your narrative. Again, if you don't like Kenny Pickett, that is fine. But comparing this dude and just saying he's not better than Purdy because of what? Highlights. Y'all are not really watching why Purdy has been successful. Once again, I'm not saying that this kid doesn't have talent. He does, obviously. I couldn't go do that right now. Excuse me. Obviously, I'm older than Purdy, but I'm just saying, I couldn't go play the quarterback position like that, even in that offense. But come on, man. Come on. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. And yeah, shout outs again, man, to even, I'm going to always read the comments from the extended family members. Shout outs to my man, Y Diggy. He says, we as fans need to cut that coulda, woulda, shoulda stuff out. With Purdy, Hilton, Ray, it's ridiculous. Yes. Oh, by the way, Y Diggy, I saw that too. Okay, so Ray fumbles. I don't hear peep. Ray gets a nice return late in that game. And yes, I can show it y'all. I seen people. See, Steelers should have kept him as a returner. As if Steven Sims didn't do his thing this year. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. But all right, man, let's get to these calls, man. Again, y'all know the routine. Let me see where we at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We 8 deep. So y'all know, be modest of time. 2 minutes or less. So everybody gets a chance. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's see. First call in the queue is actually Mr. Winningham. We got area code 803. Let's bring on Mr. Winningham. How you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, good evening. I hope everyone's been having a good week, good weekend and everything. I can't wait for the ladies to get their show going. Those ladies are dynamite. So whoever hasn't heard the ladies on their show, their night, you got to tune in for it. As I see it, the season's over with, and now we can get to our roster construction for the next year. We have about $30 or $40 million worth of cap cuts, starting with William Jackson. Well, he ain't coming back $12.5 million. No. So I feel pretty good. The only thing I wish going into this offseason is I hope that Omar Khan can do something that Kevin Colbert very seldom do. We only have about, 6 or 7 draft picks. I wish we would use some of those draft picks, maybe the last second-round pick or whatever you want to call it, or third-round pick, manipulate the draft, trade back, get extra picks. There's a lot of talent that we could get, but we don't have the draft picks to do it. But that's it. I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you.
Man, thank you, Mr. Winningham. Always good to hear from you, man. Great call, like always. And to keep it short along with you guys, I'll keep my responses short. I'm going to hang on to the last point you said. That's a great point that you brought up, that the Steelers, they may have done it before, but if they did, I don't really remember. It's the same way it was only one time or so that we all remembered them trading up before, with Troy, before they did it with Bush. If you like that approach, what Mr. Winningham was saying, this year is the bargaining chip for it, right? Because you got the 32nd pick. There's going to be some suitors for the 32nd pick. That's that number 2 pick, second round pick from the Bears. We appreciate that for Claypool. So if you are of the mindset, like Mr. Winningham said, and, I'm in favor of that too. Maybe it just depends on, maybe the Steelers' approach is they want to get 3 players in the top 45, top 50 or whatever. I can see that too. But I will say if this is what you would prefer them to do, this is the year I think they have the bargaining chip to do it with that 32nd overall pick. So we'll see. Next up in the queue, we got area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, Sim. Thanks for taking my call. I just have a real quick question. It's kind of 2 parts. Okay, the first part is, do you guys out there think the Steelers will add another dynamic receiver to Pickens and Johnson? And the second part of that is, if they do add another receiver, how do you guys think that's going to work out in the locker room as far as being able to distribute the ball equally amongst 3? We saw what kind of happened with Claypool. I'm sure there's other things that were involved, but how do you add another dynamic receiver in that offense while trying to please everybody's ego on offense? That's all I got. Thanks.
Man, thanks for the call. That's a great question. Here's the X factor. Calvin Austin. They didn't get a chance to see what Calvin Austin has. So if Calvin Austin is healthy and he plays, that's pretty much a guy that could be dynamic. You know what I mean? I mean, we say that based off of what we saw from him coming in, but now we just got to see it in the NFL. So that could be the guy. So if that is the case, maybe they don't bring in another guy or draft another guy, and they just kind of add pieces behind it, because then the question becomes, what's the contract on Miles Boykin, Steven Sims, these other guys, Gunnar O, I think they're all 1 year contract. I don't know. I'm just asking, because the thing is, they really only got Pickens and Deontay. They kind of patch things together without Claypool. So you would expect that there's that extra guy is going to be there, which is more than likely going to be Austin. So then what do they build around that? However, they could go shoot for the moon and, try to get another dynamic guy, but we'll see. I don't think they go early with receiver, because I do think that they are hedging their bet on a guy like Calvin Austin to step in there with Pickens and Deontay. And spreading the ball, honestly, I don't think will be too difficult with him, because you can use Austin in so many different ways. So I think the ball will just have to, again, be Deontay versus Pickens. So that's kind of how I see it, but time will tell. Next up, we have area code 757. Oh, that sounds like Tidewater area, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, something like that. What you got for us?
You know what it is. What's going on? How you doing, brother?
Good. What's going on, man?
Pretty good. All right. I'm going to age myself with this thing I'm about to ask you. We're talking about the offense with, how Canada calls it, and it's like they're stagnant the entire game until the fourth quarter. This is the part where I age myself. It reminds me of when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Marvin Hagler, who was my dude, and he told his corner, "Let me know when there's 10 seconds left in the match," and he was flurried. They had to wait till the end to do something. But that's the only thing I got with Matt Canada. You have to call the game like your life depends on it the whole time. Not just the fourth quarter, man. Come on, because you're not gonna get these quality wins against good teams like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. Now, my thing for this right here, how do you feel about us not addressing the offensive or defensive lines in the draft, early on last year? I got tired of seeing people run through us like bad milk going through a baby. That was crazy. That was embarrassing. We wasting, Cam, his talents. They got a lot of free agents out, and it's going to sound like I'm, putting a shout out. My cousin, Poona Ford, who plays for Seattle, he's a free agent. You have to double team him.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? Do you think we should address it in the draft or free agency as far as the line? That's the question I got for you. Thank you.
Man, thanks for calling, man. I'm always going to show love and perk up when I see VA callers, because y'all know, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. I've been in Pennsylvania quite a long time, but VA is always going to be my hometown. So anytime I see 804, 703, 757, it's others as well, but I'm just highlighting the main ones. No disrespect, but the main ones are like Tidewater, Richmond, Northern Virginia. Those are the area codes you see mostly. But I will say this. That is a great question, man. And it kind of stumps me a little bit. Here's the reason why. The offensive line actually came around. I still think there's a few opportunities for us to spring a leak, though. So I'm not opposed to addressing the offensive line. Do I think we should have addressed it earlier in the last year or two? I do. You could argue the draft when we got Freiermuth and Najee that there could have been an offensive lineman in there. Guys like Creed Humphrey and, and even seeing guys like Landon Dickerson excelling, kind of out of position if I'm not mistaken. I think he's playing guard, but even he's doing it well in Philly. Yeah, I could understand that sentiment. Maybe we should have went earlier instead of taking a chance on guys like Kendrick Green. Defensive line is where it gets tricky. And like you mentioned, your cousin. I'm not opposed to doing that. Free agency. Reason why is because I think we have a guy in a DeMarvin Leal that's going to be special. I think we potentially have someone we can continue to work with and allow the milk. We know Big Cam is probably playing in his last year, so we're going to have to replace that soon. So maybe while we have Cam and while we have a couple younger guys that you can groom, maybe the need isn't to rush out and draft one, unless it's one of them dogs. Like if it's old boy out of Georgia, that's different. But if it's not one of those top projected guys or elite guys that we can see with talent, I'm cool with the free agent. And I think we have a good complement of a free agent, Big Cam, and those couple young guys behind him that could keep that train rolling. So sorry to be so long-winded there, man. I was too long there. My bad, y'all. So let's get to the next call. Area code 651. What you got for us?
What's up, Sam?
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I just got a couple of points I'm going to try to make quick. I want to say, I hear everybody talking crazy about Kenny Pickett, and I think they don't pay attention to the game because his gift is not the arm, it's not his speed. It's about once he learns that offense, he has a focus and a precision to what he's doing. It's like when he knows everything on the offense, he knows exactly where to go. He can offset whatever the defense is doing. When you saw that, that's what you saw at Pitt. That's why it was so prevalent his last year, because he had that time to learn. And once he got it down, it's over. Another thing I want to say that I don't think like a lot of people saw was that him and Deshaun Watson got a lot of the same game at certain times. Deshaun, they had the same 40 time, believe it or not.
Wow.
But Kenny's always on the run to throw. That's one of the differences that I see. Kenny's the one to throw. Deshaun, he's going to be magic out there running the ball. But if you look at Pickett late in the season, it was hard to get him on the ground when he decided to run. And that's a lot of things that look how Deshaun Watson made us look at the end of the season. So I feel like he's coming along. That offense is starting to work. You look at the end of the season, literally we were one of the hottest teams in the league. People don't want to mention that. They want to say the people that the level of competition was lower, but we lost to some of these same type of teams earlier in the season. But I'm not gonna mention that. Tommy finally did something that we've been wanting to see. Him giving Najee some spells out there and doing more of a two-back system. And look how Najee paid off toward the end of the season. I mean, he was a monster toward the end. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The way he did the guy from the Browns, Myles Garrett. Oh my God.
Oh.
I hadn't seen a running back do that to him. So hopefully we keep that up, and I think we've proven that we need that second back and what it can do for us toward the end of the season. The third thing is about Matt Canada. One of the reasons that offense didn't work is run dependent. We have to be able to run the ball to see the full scope of the offense. Nobody looks at that. It's like you can't just throw out of an offense. It's built and designed to be able to run the ball well, and once that's clicking, it's hard to stop because now these short throws, and then we got the type of receivers that we have these days. It's going to be ugly if Kenny keeps growing in that area. But yeah, Matt, it's hard to say if he's making bad play calls or being repetitive, or did the offense only know 5 or 6 plays? So it's like, how do you figure that out when the players were saying the same things themselves? So, that's all I got, man. Other than we got some of the best, worst, corniest, coolest fans in the league. Like, some of the stuff these people say, man. It's like, every time I see Dublin, I just imagine that person only having their lunch 3 days out of the week because somebody took it in high school. I don't know. It's corny, man, but that's all I got, man.
Oh man, thank you for the call, man. You said a whole lot, and it's a whole lot I agree with. So I'll hang on just the 1 point. Well, 2 points, but I'm gonna be quick with them. Listen, I don't know Kenny's ceiling. As far as how we all feel about him, everybody's gonna have a wide range of opinions. But where I am gonna agree with 651 is I like what I've seen out of Kenny, man. The good, bad, and indifferent from him. What I have seen from him in totality, I like his trajectory. I do. I don't know how high that goes. We'll see. He's going to show us how great or not great he can be. But where I sit today, I have no problem with us proceeding with Kenny Pickett as the quarterback because of those intangibles that he shows. The back-to-back games, man, winning drives to win like little stuff like that. He has that competitiveness. In spots, his accuracy started to improve down the stretch. The game against the Raiders, I mean, that ball had to be on the money, on a rope to Pickens to win that game. I like what I'm seeing out of him so far. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's up to him to prove us right or wrong. So, and then the other point about Matt Canada, yeah, man, it's like I said, sometimes he pulls a play call out of his hat, and I'm cool with it. It's just my biggest issue I've had with him is he stays stagnant too long. Like he sticks to his plan, and his situational play calling sometimes is just not the best. So, but like I said, I knew he would be back, guys. Again, the organization don't seem to fire coaches, so there you have it, man. All right, we got about 3 more calls. Let's get these in and out. Area code 859. What you got for us?
What's up, Sam? This is Carmichael, bro.
Yes, sir. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, my bad, man. I was on second shift for a while, so I've been missing the shows. I ain't even know my membership went canceled on me, but now I'm back on first, so I'm gonna be tuned in. But I just wanted to say a couple things, man. Like the Brock Purdy and Kenny, man. Like Kenny, the master, the back shoulder fade, like super early in his career, where like that's like one of the hardest passes to master, and he doing it early. So I feel like I ain't seen Purdy throw nothing like that before. So I'm not going, he playing good within the system, and he get credit for that. But overall, like game, like that back shoulder fade is the truth, and they gonna make a lot of money doing that. And I also wanted to say, I told y'all Canada was gonna come back because he was signed to 2023. And y'all gotta see the vision, man. Like it's a developing process, and you don't want to ask rookies. You don't want to ask a rookie to throw the ball 50 times a game and expect to be like a winning recipe. Like there's too many miscommunications and things still that's going along in the offense. So I just, they gonna pull it through, but it's a development process. But I told y'all from day one Kenny was gonna be that dude. But I just let him ball out, let him show y'all. But that's all I really wanted to say, man. Appreciate the call, brother.
Appreciate you, Carmichael. Appreciate having you back, man. And you guys never have to apologize for missing a show. I mean, listen, man, work, duty calls. That's what pays the bills. You know what I mean? Happy to have you back, man. I appreciate the commitment and dedication. What I will say really quick, man, to kind of agree with him and go back to the last caller about Kenny. One thing that he said, the last caller too, about Kenny is, Canada, it's a run-dependent offense. We all see that. So just imagine, man, if the Steelers can continue to run the football, right, and have guys creep down in the box and we get more of them one-on-one looks with Pickens out there. Like, it could get crazy in terms of the Steelers just doing semi-basic things, but we're able to set it up because we're running the football down people's throat. So imagine if we can continue to run the ball well, and then the play action, all of that starts to work. But then, like I said, you get the one-on-one look with Pickens. And let's not forget Deontay. Now you get the one-on-one quick slant to Deontay, who creates separation like nobody's business. So we'll see. It could be special, man. But again, Canada's definitely going to have to evolve this thing. I don't think any of us are, you know what I mean, on his side in that regard. And yeah, just to agree with what my man said, Kenny Pickett has started to develop that back shoulder, man. And there were some throws that we saw this year that was pinpoint accurate throws. You know, I think it improved over the season. He still has a ways to go. But guess what? The kid was a rookie. And that's what I think people are forgetting. Like how some of y'all are ready to throw a rookie quarterback in the trash so fast. Again, they looking at, oh, look at Brock Purdy's success, but they don't see why. But they don't give Kenny credit for any of the success that he had. That is ironic. It's weird, but like I said, a lot of highlight watchers, man. Just my opinion. All right, area code 908. What you got for us?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, this is Jersey Boy.
What's up, Jersey? What's going on?
All right. The thing about Matt, sometimes they need to calm down. We young. Like you said before, this is a rebuild, and that takes time. You can't go for looking for an OC and thinking that he's going to come in there and be better. It's not guaranteed. And remember this, what happened, Matt has a good year. And what happened, he doesn't want to come back. Because think of that. Because now we got to cheer for him to do good and get better. Remember this. And y'all want him out. And let's say he does good and make Kenny better. And then what happens? Because remember, he likes to travel. In college, he did that.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just saying, people need to calm down. It's going to be, have patience. Be patient. It looks good right now. Can't rush things. Can't be like Cleveland. Can't be like Detroit. Can't be like Atlanta. All these teams that never been in the Super Bowl. Calm down. I'm 52 years old. I remember the 80s. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to go back in the 80s. That was bad times. Well, that's all I got to say.
Man, I appreciate the call, Jersey Boy. You're right. You know, listen, we all have our gripes, and that's fine. There's things that you can dislike or disagree with the coach, but I think the point that Jersey Boy is making, he's right. Like, there's never a guarantee. It's the same thing with the head coach. It's never a guarantee, oh, you fire this guy and the next guy comes in and they go straight to the moon. That doesn't happen, folks. It doesn't happen often. Can it happen? Sure, but it's not a thing that just automatically happens all the time. Sometimes you catch lightning in the bottle. You know, look at my man at the Eagles, like Sirianni. It just happened to just be working right now. But these things don't always happen like that, and things do take time. Again, none of us, I don't think, are sitting here with pom-poms for Matt Canada. We all have had our gripes with him, but I do understand the other side of the coin. Things do take time. I can say this, even though we didn't score a lot of points, Steelers offense got better down the stretch. Now, I would expect going into the second season, now we work on getting that point total up. You got to put up more than one touchdown or so a game. So, we'll see. And like he said, what if he does well? What if he messes around and turns this offense into one of the top offenses? We'll see. Then we'll be begging for him to stay. What's going on with Bacon over here? I see everybody talking about, is he wilding in the comments? Because I don't see the comments, guys, when I'm looking at the screen. But Bacon, whoever you are, please settle down, because I'm going to listen to the majority here. Last call of the night, man. Area code 702. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Sim? Hope you're having a good night.
Good. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I was just, I wanted to see how you're feeling about these rumors that they're saying that we're going to pick up that receiver. I think his name is Addison, to link up with Kenny. Like, are we going to pull a Bengals move here and, disregard that we need a cornerback and we need linemen, or, we could easily be picking up a lot of great picks with these three first picks, or we're gonna make a joke of ourselves and go for Addison. I mean, even Kenny on some podcasts is saying he can play at like 4.2, 4.3, so he's campaigning for his guy. But it's like, bro, I don't like the Cheetah runs at 4.2, 4.3 while playing. Like, I don't know, is this guy really that fast? He would probably be going, first round pick or the first receiver from the draft. I just wanted to see how you feel about that. And do you guys really think we're going to get Terrell's brother?
I know.
We can barely sign his brother right now. The deal he's going to be asking for is going to be hopefully a friendly one, but we already disrespected him by not signing up his 5th year and paying him I think it was like a $1 million a year deal, prove it deal. So it's like either his deal's about to be really big or he just put himself in a place where he can get paid by somebody else. I just wanted to hear what you have to say about that, though.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. Great call. I'll answer both of those questions. I'll answer the last one first because it's just how my mind remembers it. The thing about Edmonds, man, is, and this is, I kind of was telling my father-in-law Leonard the same thing. This is under the assumption that he doesn't re-sign with the Bills. Or there's not another team in free agency that's going to offer him the bigger bag. And that's why I laugh at us Steelers fans, because, again, we are famous for wanting every free agent, drafting every player. It don't work like that. Or every trade. That's another one I kept hearing, with the Roquan Smith trade and all that, as if at that time Roquan wanted to come to the Steelers. Obviously him and his agent had the leverage. They want to go to a winning team. He was on a 3-7 Bears team at the time, or whatever they were. And at that time, I think the Steelers were 3-7, something, or maybe worse than that, because what was it, week 8? So it probably wasn't 3-7, but y'all know what I'm saying. We were not a good team, and our trajectory was not going up. So a lot of times these players have leverage when they trade, right? But yeah, that's the assumption that Edmonds is not going to re-sign with the Bills. So we shall see. But also, talking about Jordan Addison, and I can take these off now since we're wrapping up. It's like this. And I've said this before. That is not the Steelers' biggest need, in my opinion. Someone already mentioned in the chat earlier, or on the call, somebody already mentioned, how do you spread the balls around to all of those who would need it? That Jordan Addison is expecting to be a number 1 receiver, regardless of where he gets drafted. In his mind, he's a number 1. He's a number 1. I think the Steelers view Deontay Johnson as such, just based off of his contract. You saw the emergence of George Pickens. So I don't think you add a presumed number 1 receiver type to this roster now because of their commitment that they gave to Deontay Johnson. That's just me looking at it from a business standpoint. I don't think you do that. Now, if people want to say you bring in as much talent as possible, sure. But again, I don't think on a high level, I go draft a guy that is wanting or probably should be a number 1 receiver, or, he's projected to be that. I don't think you bring that in when you have the guy that you committed the money to and an emerging George Pickens. You don't do that. So that's one reason still hopeful for you guys who hope that he drafts him. That's one reason I think it doesn't happen just because of that. The more obvious reason is, I think he's probably the first receiver off the board. Very possible that he goes, where did we pick, 17? Very possible he goes before that. So, and then getting into all this, some people are saying, oh, we'll use that other pick to trade up. No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. And me personally, I prefer the Steelers to not draft a receiver in the first 2 rounds. So that's just my opinion. You got to work in them trenches, whether that's offensive, defensive line, cornerback is a position of need, off ball, linebacker might be a position of need. I don't know if you can get somebody early. Let's not even forget pass rusher. Let's not forget edge rusher, guys. I don't know how early you go with it, but if last time I checked, it's really just TJ and Highsmith. We have nothing really behind those guys. So, Malik Reed did really nothing for us this season, unfortunately. So, that's all I got. I'll spend a couple minutes in here, man, and see what you guys got. Just a couple minutes. And then we'll wrap this show up. Bettsburg says, I think a lot of fans are talking Jordan Addison as an option just based off Steelers' track record of taking receivers when most experts had them taking another position. Very possible, but again, the Steelers we haven't really drafted a receiver in the first. It's been a long time since we've done that. Now, if you're saying maybe second round, maybe the Steelers would reach like that. I just don't think they should do that. Now, if Jordan Addison is at a spot where you just can't resist it, because there was another rumor out there saying that, one of the experts, quote unquote experts, said they don't think the receivers will start running or coming off the board until the second round. If the Steelers, it's like this. If the Steelers were to do that, that 32nd pick is going to be very interesting. Because that's a wild card. That's a wild card. Because if you pick again in the top 50, you could very well take a swing for the fences with that number, that second pick, right? And then pick somebody of need in your actual second round pick spot. So the Steelers are in a good position to do really what they want. They can shoot for the fences at that number 32 overall pick, like draft the player and not necessarily need. You understand what I'm saying? They could, if they wanted to get cute and say, well, all right, we are going to load up with receivers. They could do something like that right there. But I just don't think, using the logic that I said about the contract of Deontay and then the emergence of George Pickens, I just don't think you draft a receiver that early. Because again, a guy like Jordan Addison is basically being projected as someone's number 1 receiver. And I know what y'all going to say. Oh, get rid of Deontay and make him. Now we're adding different factors in there. Now, that's why I say, now, if the Steelers end up doing some type of trade of a Deontay Johnson, then okay. Now we're talking something different. But until that happens, I'm not even going to go down that road. What else y'all got? Todd Zukowski says draft experts are worse odds than the lottery. You are absolutely correct, sir. Claude Bishop says, why draft Addison when they don't know how to use Pickens yet? I don't know if I agree with the fact that they don't know how to use Pickens. I think we utilize Pickens the way we needed to in terms of position. Now, if you're saying just going to him more, okay, I understand that. But, with Deontay Johnson out there, Pickens is going to be your Z receiver, or sometimes they slide him into the slot like we did. But, yeah. But you might be speaking from another aspect. You might just be saying use him as far as utilization. Robert says Omar Khan should be arrested for the theft on the Claypool trade. Absolutely. if you're Chicago, again, you talk about organizations and the soundness of an organization as far as mentally. There's no way I'm giving a team the same round pick where they got a player. Steelers drafted Claypool in the second round. There's no way I'm going to give you the same compensation back. I mean, where's my bargaining chip? I mean, I got to be competitive a little bit, right? I'm going to give you exactly what you paid for him? Stupid. And then again, you know, you also got to consider too, Claude, I'm not saying you're wrong at all. You know, none of us know. But, you know, sometimes you never know how the game is schemed and how coverage is being, you know what I mean? Like, teams near the end of the year knew that George Pickens was our threat deep. So they could have been rotating coverage to him. You know, it's a lot of different things. Actually, I'm going to go back and look at some of that. I didn't look so much into that in the last couple of weeks because I didn't have the opportunity, man, to produce the all 22 content like I normally do because I was very busy in those 2 weeks. But now I will go back and see if down the stretch, I'll say like the last 4 or 5 games, that they start dictating more coverage towards Pickens, because that's something that to pay attention to as well. So 1 or 2 more and then we'll get out of here. Debbie says, why would the Steelers draft a receiver in the first when they have had the best record of success in later rounds? Many of the guys they could not keep were paid and went on to other teams, but be for real. Debbie, that is an absolutely fire comment. You are absolutely correct, man. Absolutely correct. The Real Deal says, Calvin is so dynamic, we can use him in the backfield too. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. I think people are forgetting that part. And I said this earlier in the show. They have plans for Calvin Austin. So why you guys want them to just play Madden and try to load up with all of the best talent? It don't work like that. It don't work like that. I will read this last comment from Mr. ABS because it's a lengthy comment. So it looks like there's some good information in there. He says, Sim, we lost a Hall of Fame quarterback and begin the year with unproven players at that position. Young offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, tight end, and new O-line. Coach as well. He says, teams fans envy has years of continuity already. Disrespectful to think we were equal. Talk your Steelers stuff. Yeah, man. Listen, outstanding organization and coach job this year. I'm saying it. To go with, again, the loss of your Hall of Fame quarterback, even though Ben wasn't the same Ben, still, it's a changing of the guard. You bring in a veteran. You pull the plug on the veteran at halftime in week, 4 that was? Kenny comes in, plays like a rookie for a while, starts to get his bearings together. Team starts off 2-6, at one point 3-7. They finished the season 9-8. They had a chance to go to the playoffs. They took care of their business to have a chance, but then unfortunately, you didn't take care of enough business early in the season, so you needed help. Didn't get the help, but you did exactly what you needed to do down the stretch. On the road, I might add, going 7-2 in the second half of the season, having 2 back-to-back primetime games, and your rookie quarterback wins the game on the final drive. I'm just saying. Outstanding job holding that team together. So, there you have it. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. First, I'm going to ask you guys to do 3 things for me. 3 things for me. 3 things for me. Boom. Like button. Subscribe. Turn on the notifications. That's all I ask you guys to do. Outside of that, I definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope everyone has a lovely rest of the week. If there's any news that, dynamic news or news we cannot let go, I will come on and do some impromptu video. But until then, again, with the offseason, it's basically a week-to-week thing as far as this show. So I shall see you guys next week. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Stay well. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, Thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.